From shimmering rainbow caverns to tropical islands, various mods have been combined to imagine some of the coolest biomes that Minecraft needs to add, like the beautiful floating skylands, filled with unique mobs and secret treasures. By searching special ruins, players can find a sky launcher block to visit this new biome, only to be met with new mobs like the Bloviators, hostile cloud spirits that will attempt to blow players right off these islands with strong gusts of wind. Luckily, with the help of these new paraglider items, regaining your footing would be a breeze. Unless you land next to the Skyland's big boss. Fought during a lightning storm inside temple ruins, this mob calls on other mechanical beasts and illagers to battle, and while difficult, can reward players with powerful lightning scrolls, allowing them to harness electricity into devastating attacks, like these electrocuting bolts, a throwable lightning lance, or an insane shockwave attack to knock out multiple foes. Though, diving back down to Earth, or rather, down below it, we have the Prismachasm caves. Gorgeous rainbow crystal caverns, teeming with new and colorful wildlife. And outside of the more vibrant classic mobs like pigs and even creepers, undiscovered creatures also live here, such as these large fireflies that can be killed for glowstone dust, or these sweet comb jellies that can be farmed for a new rainbow jelly item, which can either be used to craft these glowing rainbow glass blocks, or can be applied to mobs to make them extra colorful. You could even eat some yourself. Oh, I've never looked better. Just watch out for the hostile mimicubes. This is a magical new slime that's able to replicate the player's weapons and armor as you fight it back, whether using a sword and shield or a crossbow. Mix a battle with them, the ultimate test of skill. Though, when killed, they do drop a new mimicream item that can be used to duplicate almost any item, which is almost as magical as the Mauve Hills biome. Here, players can find the bones of long-dead dragons, and even living ones. Thought to be extinct, these mythical monsters can rarely be seen flying above Mauve Hills, searching for their next meal. Each variant, from the fire-breathing to the electrically charged and ice-summoning dragons, have powerful attacks capable of easily decimating their prey. So it's best to leave them be, as foolish players that attempt to slay them are often met with a swift end. You could always get some help from the pixies. Coming in a variety of colors, each one of these flying sprites can be tossed a cake to follow the player and buff them with different status effects, though neither them nor the dragons could survive the harsh radiation of the toxic caves. Requiring a special hazmat suit just to enter, this underground biome is full of bubbling acid pits, ruined facilities, and radioactive uranium ore throughout. And that's not even mentioning the hostile mobs like the new Creeper, a slower but much more powerful creeper that, once ignited, won't stop until it's left a giant nuclear crater in its wake. It's best to avoid these mobs as you search long abandoned structures for new items and materials, like the ray gun, which is great at getting you out of any pinch. Well, as long as you're not up against Tremorzilla. Born from an egg that's been caught in a nuclear blast, it'll grow into a monstrous beast that's nearly unstoppable, often crushing smaller creatures just by walking. In battle, this beast uses its massive jaws to chomp at prey, or slamming its foot for a tremor attack. Though, when the massive plates on the back of this beast begin to glow bright, the Tremorzilla will rear its head back to unleash a devastating beam of pure energy, capable of melting through nearly any block. I'd much rather spend my days with the helpful Dumbo octopuses in the new Rocky Reef biome. Made up of small rocky islands with palm trees and colorful coral below, players can be awarded bubble helmets by the friendly octopuses that live here to help them breathe underwater. No potions needed, which is especially helpful when searching for the new sunken city structure. Ancient ruins guarded by the new hostile deepling mobs. They can do everything from lunging at you with a spear to summoning deadly beams of energy. Even the coral itself will come to life to smash and leap towards players, while deeplings jump on their backs for a devastating double team. Though, for those that manage to brave this structure's trials and defeat its ultimate final challenge, challenge, the powerful Tidal Claw weapon is this biome's prize. A versatile weapon that allows players to grapple towards blocks and mobs while also being able to attack with a tentacle tongue that can lash through multiple enemies at once. Though you probably still want to find yourself this fierce raccoon and blue jay duo in the autumn maple forest biome, a land where the trees are ablaze with beautiful fall leaves. It's a haven for new unique mobs like the raccoons, which are charming tricksters that'll beg for a bite of your food. And I find it's best to give it to them, because if you don't, you might just find them stealing it right out of your chest instead. Hey, get back here, you little rascal! They're not the only scavengers though. Blue jays can often be found flying around the skies singing their tunes. And if any food item is dropped, they'll immediately attempt to eat it too. Though, however, if both these mobs are fed glowberries, they'll actually partner up and help you fight hostile mobs. Even the Umvathana, raptor-like birds that circle their prey before attacking in patterns. And each one has a chance to drop one of 6 special masks that'll grant various effects like haste, resistance, or even extra hearts when you wear them, which helps a ton when faced with the fearsome dinosaurs of the Joshua Deserts. This arid paradise teems with fascinating creatures, like this guy. Always munching on leaves, it can be tamed to net yourself a loyal scavenger that'll bring back goodies for you. Though sometimes they tend to end up as a snack to the sandworms, giant burrowing beasts that are fiercely territorial. A player's best bet is to blow them out of the ground with well-placed TNT. The only problem is that would alert the Tyrannosaurus, most often found hunting or fighting other dinosaur mobs like the Triceratops. These monstrous beasts are in a league of their own, even capable of knocking down trees to get to their prey. However, determined players might just find that with enough raw meat, even these fearsome foes can be domesticated. Then, using a trusty whistle, you can command them to behave in a specific way, or even armor them up and ride them, giving you both incredible speed and power as you demolish everything in your way. It's just too bad that you can't bring them with you into the haunting spider nest biome. The walls here are alive with the movement of spiders scuttling in every direction. And while absolutely filled with ore, this maze of thick webs and spider eggs is just crawling with new creeps to meet, like the camouflage spider, nearly invisible outside of its glowing eyes. Or there's the jumping spider, a cute friendly critter that can actually be tamed with insect parts to help you fight. It'll even spin you some silk to craft the silk grappling hook, allowing you to swing around like a spider. However, the true menace in these caverns is the Dread Scuttler, a monstrous spider queen that rules these nests. She summons a swarm of spiders to her aid and spits a metric ton of venom at intruders. When defeated, she'll even split into numerous smaller spiders that are ready to continue the assault. Ew! Gross! For those daring enough to brave these treacherous tunnels, though, you might just be able to snag some spider armor that, when worn, grants the ability to climb walls just like the spiders. And between this and the grappling hook, I'm basically the real actual Spider-Man, which makes it really easy to travel above the bears in these new redwood forest biomes. Here, colossal trees stretch skyward and provide a rich new redwood block set for builders to use. Plus, you might just stumble upon the odd dirt golem. It's a little whimsical creature that loves to plant more of any flower you give it. All the while, new lantern mobs glowing like ethereal jellyfish dot the canopy of these roofed forests, and will drop a special luminous jelly that can be eaten to give you some handy night vision, which makes it easier to keep an eye out for grizzly bears. Generally defensive, they'll only attack if you get too close to them or their cubs, though these bears really love honey, often tearing through bee nests to get at honeycombs. And after indulging in this sweet snack, they can be tamed with raw salmon, allowing players to ride them. They'll even fiercely protect their owner, treating them as one of the family. Aw, I love you guys too, almost as much as I love exploring the abyssal chasms in my torpedo-launching submarine. Using one of these machines, players can locate a number of fascinating structures like ancient ruins or abandoned sea bases, along with the chasm's unique mobs, like the Mine Guardians, chained mechanical sentinels that periodically open their eye to scan for intruders, and if found, close in to explode, though they can be killed to nab some depth charges, which are a weapon that can be used to create underwater explosions. Though you still gotta be careful and watch out for the terrifying Holt Breaker, a massive creature that uses its teeth to devour prey. In order to avoid its deadly gaze, adventurers must turn off all lights and let it pass, because if it senses you, it'll circle around, flashing the lights on its body before launching an attack. So it's best to keep your distance while you search for the deep ones, a race of creatures that can be befriended and bartered with for rare new items, such as the Sea Staff, a magical ranged weapon that summons powerful water bolts to damage enemies. Or there's the Ortholance, that flings its user forward, whether in sea or on land, and creates mini tidal waves to deal damage to surrounding enemies. You could even use it against this fiery boss in the new Infernal Holt Biomes. This scorching landscape is filled with firegrass and unique brimwood trees that can be chopped down for an awesome new burning wood set. Though the real challenge comes from the new burning arena structure, where Ignis awaits. A powerful boss with a number of destructive fire attacks, players need to be careful, as Ignis can blast foes by summoning hordes of fireballs, or fly sword first at players to impale and immobilize them. Ow! Though, for those brave enough to conquer these fiery trials, the Incinerator Sword is their prize. A mighty weapon that has the unique ability to summon a devastating flame strike. It's incredibly strong, though it won't keep you warm in the new Auroral Gardens biome. Here, new moose mobs have claimed the cold, though they won't hesitate to charge at their enemies either, whether wolves or the new frost stalkers. Fearsome predators that hunt in packs and can walk over water, they tend to encircle their prey before leaping and swiping with their deadly claws, even shaking the ice shards off their backs to damage nearby prey. Though, if a player manages to kill some and craft a Froststalker helmet, they can instead pacify these beasts, causing them to follow and fight with their newfound ally. They could even help you against the Frost Maw. Found deep in these winter biomes, this colossal beast sleeps, clutching a powerful crystal. A difficult battle to the death is inevitable, as the Frostmaw does everything in its power to destroy you. However, if defeated, it'll drop its crystal, a powerful item that allows players to harness the ice for themselves in order to freeze mobs in place. Or you could just grab yourself some new gear, like the magnetic helmet and pulsar gun from the Magnetic Caves biome. A mesmerizing world filled with magnetic crystals and pulsing energy, even the mobs fit right in. Like the Noter, a hovering creature that, while unable to attack, will scan nearby beings to create holograms and alert other monsters to your location. Monsters like the Magnetron, Tattletale. This deceptive foe keeps a low profile until alerted, at which point it forms a giant body using nearby blocks, even incorporating items like sawmills or anvils into their bodies to enhance their attack power. Ow! That's not what those are for! Though it's worth the trouble to obtain items like the Magnetic Helm, which allows its wearer to repulse metallic entities and cling to metallic blocks like iron for easy traversal. Or you could get your hands on the Pulsar Gun that sends out powerful shockwaves to repel creatures. Plus, with the addition of all new magnetic blocks, players can even build a working elevator to take them straight into the new Bayou biomes, littered with mud-loving critters like mud skippers. By finding and killing new lobster mobs, the mud skipper can be tamed with its tasty tail, convincing these agile fish to assist you in combat by shooting balls of mud at your enemies. Even the Caimans. These crocodile-like creatures attack by biting down with their powerful jaws, and often pop up out of the water to search for their next meal. Ow! Which, if you're lucky, isn't you, but rather those catfish. Now these are a unique mob, as they can not only be thrown items to store inside their stomachs, but also small mobs like chickens, which can then be retrieved by offering them a sea pickle. It's quite the weird skill to have, and it certainly doesn't help when visiting the Forlorn Hollows. An underground system filled with mole cultists lurking in rundown shacks and structures, while the walls and floors are tunneled through by corrodents, gross giant rats that emerge to bite with their sharp front teeth when they sense their prey. These hostile mobs move easily through almost any block, but luckily they fear light, so a well-placed torch will send them scurrying right out of sight. Only then, the gloom moths will show up. Naturally seeking out light sources for navigation, these insects cluster around torches and other light-emitting blocks. And though they're harmless themselves, they tend to attract predators like the Forsaken! A creature imbued with potent dark magic, they'll attack anything that's not native to these lands. With ranged sonic attacks and ground-smashing blows, they're incredibly deadly, even capable of lifting their prey off the ground for a bite. Ow! Though, when finally defeated, players might just be able to craft valuable new items, like the Dreadbow, a powerful ranged weapon that can rain down barrages of dark arrows from afar. Or they could craft the Cloak of Darkness, which grants players the ability to vanish and fly extremely fast. They might even help you break open ice to claim even more loot in the Frozen Spires biome. A frozen taiga adorned with towering icicle spikes above and mysterious frozen caverns below, here, mobs have been transformed into icy versions of themselves, like the frozen zombies that throw snowballs to damage and slow players. Or the Iceologer, an illager that loves nothing more than to summon large chunks of ice to drop onto unsuspecting wanderers. Ow! Hey! His magic can turn a peaceful exploration into a frozen nightmare in seconds. Killing him, however, will net you the Ice Staff, a powerful weapon that allows you to fire giant ice blocks at your enemies to turn the tables in any frosty confrontation. Though that's not even the best loot, as treasures lie frozen in blocks all throughout. Breaking them open can result in anything from useful supplies to hidden gems, even the new Frost Armor, which provides extra protection and freezing resistance, making it perfect for surviving the harsh conditions of this biome, although useless against the heat of the upside-down forest and its wildlife. Here, the world of the Nether has been seemingly turned on its head, and it's home to an array of unique and deadly creatures, like the Crimson Mosquito, a moth that'll fly through the air, attacking and latching onto prey to suck its blood. It's best to keep a shield on hand to keep them at bay, or just let the warped toads have their meal. Ugh, thanks, pal. Though they're mostly here to keep the bugs in check, if attacked, they will fight back using their tongues as a weapon. Ouch! Often helping to protect the Mungus, strange mushroom-headed mobs that fire beams at mushrooms to transform them into larger fungi. Whoa! Though, you gotta be careful, because if you see a crimson mosquito drinking the blood of Among Us, it'll mutate and grow into the warped Mosco. It's an incredibly strong and deadly creature that has an earth-shaking slam attack and can lift its prey up off the ground to suck their blood. Ah, stop! For the players that manage to kill this fiend, however, they can obtain the materials necessary to craft this blaster. It's a unique ranged weapon that fires large amounts of blue spit, dealing damage to any entity it hits, while also requiring no ammunition. It's a good weapon to have on hand as you enter the Pumpkin Fields biome and the Creeplings emerge. A seemingly playful yet dangerous creature in the early game, they can easily overwhelm you. Unless you happen to have a candle, that is, as giving them one of these will immediately turn them into a loyal pet that will attack other mobs for you. Even the terrifying Lord Pumpkinhead. It fights on horseback, inflicting burning pain from its attacks, and even teleports randomly, often leaving behind either pumpkin minions or explosive pumpkin bombs. Not only that, but if you deal enough damage, he'll dismount and switch to ranged combat with his pistol, while his horse continues to attack you at close range. Still, if you deal more damage, his head will detach, attacking you rapidly with ranged shots and pumpkin bombs, while his body engages in close combat. that? When will it end? Oh, finally! Defeating this menace, however, will reward you with both the Soulbane Sword, which deals insane damage, and the Pumpkin Pistol, that lets you snipe fiery projectiles at your enemies. Heck, if you're really lucky, he might even drop his lamp that can be used to summon your own flaming horse to ride, even as you descend into the tantalizing Glowroot Caves. A vibrant ecosystem full of strange glowing wildlife and an abundance of unique flora. Here, mobs like the Glowroot Hermit scurry about, while quadcopter mobs patrol the caves to drop Glowroot TNT on intruders. A blinding explosion that can easily disorient any player. Makes it easy to walk into hordes of glow zombies, which will just blind you even more! They're not all bad though, as the Glowroot Golem serves as a neutral mob that can be mounted and ridden like a horse, providing a unique means of traversal and making it easier to find new locker blocks full of valuable new items like the Glowroot Drill, which allows you to mine in a 3x3 area. Even rarer items can be obtained, like the Glowbang, which is an explosive that disorients and highlights mobs, or the Prism, a powerful weapon that shoots a deadly glow beam laser for ranged attacks, which comes in handy when fighting against the Arch-Illager in the stunning new Cacti Canyon biome. A landscape of towering pillars and arches, this desert paradise is home to new castle ruin structures, inhabited by Illagers old and new, like the Archivokers, who cast spells, turn invisible, and conjure gusts of wind to thwart their foes. Or the Enchanter Illager, a mob that supports his hostile allies with magical buffs and by summoning shadowy creatures. They can really be a handful, though the true test of strength comes from the larger fortress structure. Halls filled to the brim with danger, ruled by the fearsome Arch-Illager. Sitting on his throne, he commands armies to defend his domain, fighting through wave after wave of enemies, and through overwhelming odds, players that defeat this little bully can be rewarded with rare spellbooks and scrolls, used to unlock a range of potent combat abilities, like the Defensive Shield, which conjures a stationary barrier to block projectiles. Or you could get Scorch, which creates a fiery eruption in a targeted area that damages creatures and leaves a blazing field of fire. Though the real prize is the Black Hole spell, which opens a fissure into the void, manifesting a vacuum that sucks in and crushes all nearby mobs. You know what doesn't suck though? This video! Why not give it a little click? It's where all the cool mobs hang out.